You're listening to the Light Over Time podcast with David Sargent and Korey Bartos. It is January 4th, 2026. It is a new year. Had an eventful December. Have plenty to talk about. We have the photo share. Pretty exciting stuff. David, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a prototype of a new Ethiopia Yirgacheffe that's coming on the shelf pretty soon at Dead River Coffee. At the shop, we're getting notes of like peach and raspberry, a little like chocolate covered raspberry. I like it a lot.
Nice. Yergs are good. I haven't had one in a while.
Yeah.
I got gifted to me for Christmas by Hope and Evan. They just got back from Portugal in December to do like Christmas fest stuff and a bunch of other things. But the voted best roaster in Portugal of 2025, Solo Brewing. It was a Kenya. I still have some. It is so good. It's the closest I've come to uh, that like old Hyperion I told you about. That was just like
Yeah.
the most unreal coffee I've ever had in my life. It's really
Yeah.
close to that.
Okay. All right.
At least in the here's all the good coffee I've been drinking. It's like way over here. It's delicious. It's so awesome.
I've heard of a lot of good roasters coming out of Portugal. I don't know what it is about Portugal that makes them good coffee roasters, but I hear a lot of them.
Yeah, that's fair. But today I have an oat milk latte with Strange Matter, Colombia.
All right.
Because that's the vibe. Man, December 3rd was the last episode, so we have an entire month basically of craziness. I did a little bit of birding.
Yes.
I went to Vortex HQ, which was one of the most magnificent things I've ever done. That place is incredible. Vortex Optics, they do binoculars and spotting scopes and scopes for rifles and things like that. They invited us out. They gave us a tour of their entire facility. It's insane.
Sweet.
Elle and I went to San Antonio, which was a trusted house sitter stay. We watched a visual and a cat and some guinea pigs. And in return, we stayed at a place with a hot tub in a very nice neighborhood in North San Antonio. And we did a lot of birding.
Very cool.
I want to say we saw almost 40 species, 40 new birds, either new for me or new for her or both.
Cool.
So we saw a lot.
I know one of them.
Yeah, and so one of the weird things about this trip was there was at least 3 times that I can remember right off the rip that we directly manifested seeing a bird. Like we would be like, man, I really want to see this bird, and then within seconds it would happen. One of them was really crazy because it was a blue scrub jay. I can't remember what the whole bird's species is. Super vibrant, very beautiful bird. And Elle was just like out of kind of nowhere because she has a very bad photo of one when she was out west. She was like, man, I really want to see that. I swear to God, it jumped in the path we were walking. Host was like, hey, what's up? Did you call me? Ate some corn, flew away. We never saw one again. Like it was that random and that crazy. So that was super cool. We were walking around this like zigzag path along this giant open kind of area next to a library. It was like a nature path that people would run and stuff. But I had yet to see great crested caracaras. And I was like, dude, I'm going to go over this like hill and get into this open. I just want to see some great crested caracaras. And from below in the valley, flying up, one and then a second. Like, I'm telling you, less than 30 seconds later, I like get over the hill and 2 giant great crested caracara fly. Amazing. And then I'm trying to think, there was another really, really wild one. But then obviously we saw my friend. We drove after a couple of days. The trusted house sitter stay was going to come home early or something, or maybe there was like a confusion with how they worded their stay, which was like kind of frustrating for like a second. And then we're like, wait, if we're free to do whatever we want, why would we stay in San Antonio? So we drove to Corpus Christi, which is over, if you're unfamiliar, is east towards the Gulf of Mexico. I was born in Galveston, Texas, so I was excited to be in that area again because that's kind of where I was born. And it's just very different than Michigan in every conceivable way.
Yeah.
And on eBird, there was a green kingfisher. And this whole trek was kind of pointed at Elle trying to get me a green kingfisher.
No.
So we get there like just before dark, and we like scope out this spot, and it's pretty good. We're just being quiet. Like I already have my flashlight out because it's dark, but we're just gonna try to see where we're gonna go for the morning when we're
Yep.
gonna come try to see this bird. And we're walking and walking and walking. Probably get 3/4 of the way into where you meet like this tiny river that meets this bigger river, and we hear it, and then we see a belted, and then not seconds later we see what definitely was a green kingfisher fly like 10 feet from us up this little river path. And so that got me super hyped. It was way too dark to even try to get a bird that fast, so we weren't really worried about photographing at that time. Um, but that was success. We went and checked into our hotel, got up super early before dark, and then walked into this little, it's like a nature kind of area. Like it has like one sign that says like it's a bird spot, but it's by like a treatment facility or something. It's like tucked behind some stuff. So it's like not really like there was another birder there later in the morning. But it's definitely like there's like construction stuff. And then you like park your car in the dirt, and then you walk up into like a really sketchy, creepy area. But it worked really well. I got it's on my Instagram. I turn, we're walking, and I'm like, okay, well, I really hope I can see this guy. It's really quiet, so I was like bummed out. The sun's coming up. We're like, okay, and I turn. There's like to the left of the small river that goes to a perpendicular larger river. There's a giant like pool, and it's like kind of dried up for the most part, but you can tell that it probably, if it, they see some heavy rain or some hurricane stuff, it's probably like an actual big pond.
Mm.
Um, and I just like turn. I got the A93 obviously because I know what I'm there for, and just start bursting. And I get a small stretch where this kingfisher, this green kingfisher, flies at this like sandpiper
Mm.
and startles it. The sandpiper tumbles into the water.
Whoa.
It's like an
Oh, I think I
X-wing.
remember seeing the series. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like an X-wing or something, and he like flies at him and like freaks him out. He tumbles in the water, and then the green
Wow.
kingfisher like scoots away, and then we get him again perched. We kind of creep up to see him. Elle gets really close to the riverbank and gets a really great shot, and he's got like a little fish in his mouth. It was awesome, and then it just didn't stop from there. We saw a ton of awesome birds. So
With the
red-footed boobies.
kingfisher, it sounds like they're just as territorial as the belted. Did you have any other notes about maybe differences, like in size or behavior?
Behavior super super similar.
Yeah.
He seemed like more of a bully. Like
Oh,
he didn't like. I don't think he really cared that we were there.
sure.
Belted's, other than the very first one I ever saw in person when it like landed in front of me on that log
Mhm.
and like screamed at me. They're usually like, oh, people see you.
Yeah.
This guy cared a lot less. He was like, this is my house, dude. Like I know some
Okay.
birders probably come here, but I'm hanging out. But their body's much smaller, but they still have
Oh,
like a giant head.
interesting.
So
To
it,
me, I couldn't get a picture of the scale, but I thought it could have been bigger just from the picture I saw, but I guess not.
No, so if anything, their heads are the same size, and its
Oh,
body is smaller than the belted. Because there was
okay.
also a belted, like just a little bit before we saw the green,
Yeah,
and we watched him fly up. And
exactly.
generally, from the ones that I saw close by, the green was much smaller in body, but pretty similar in head size.
Okay.
Um, we just got the Asia wingspan, and there's a couple more kingfishers in it. And some of them are like really tiny bodied and massive head. So
Mm.
they're strange like that, but.
All right.
Um, super glad I got to see it kind of hunt around a little bit and do its thing. And then it flew across the big river and like up on a log back and forth. And then we kind of trailed it as it like flew along the river. So we got a couple of good goes at it. So for like
Very good.
again, the I'm as far as I know, the only other kingfisher you can get in like the lower 48. At least without it being like a really rare sighting or something, as far as I know. Maybe a ringed can come up there occasionally, but
Mm.
I don't know of one. Um, at least in my reading. I didn't like deep dive into it, but as far as I know, especially north of the Mason-Dixon, I'm not getting anything but a belted. So I was grateful. It was really cool to go to see a bird and like get that bird instantly.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
then, like I said, just a bunch. We got green jays in Mexico,
Yeah.
but it looks like the green jay I got was actually an Inca green jay, from what I'm gathering. and we got the other green jay, just the standard one in Florida there in Corpus Christi too, which was
Nice.
awesome. And Elle really wanted him. I got one like the night before, and we weren't sure we are going to see him again, and we got like a bunch of chances. So we got some really great shots of the green jay.
Very
Um,
cool.
saw like an olive. Can't remember if it was like an olive warbler or something, but another green little bird that was, I think, rare for the area, and that was a lifer.
Ah,
Um, tons of shorebirds, tons of other stuff. It was cool. It was
nice.
super good trip. Like I said, to I I, I think that means I have to look at her numbers. I can't remember, but I know she broke 300 lifers. I don't know if that was like for her year. I think it was two something for her year, but like
Sure.
for being in your second year of residency and
Yeah.
like not doing a big year or something, like
Yeah.
she
Right.
was she was out here hauling for some birds.
Yeah. No doubt. I was pretty proud of. I mean, I think I am still at 138 for 2025, and I'm proud of that. Not
Dude,
going anywhere, basically.
that's really solid for what I you could probably say like the upper half of the lower peninsula and then like
And
UP.
that's only really 2 days of northern Michigan.
Right.
Upper Peninsula was the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So,
that's no, that's a haul too. That's pretty epic.
but
You
somewhere
know,
between 2 and 300 for L is amazing.
yeah, but she went to Florida and we both went to Mexico and we went to Texas
Yeah.
and we went to Maryland. So like we were kind of getting after it. 2025 was for us like a pretty big shift in going from a relatively casual hobby to like all we do is travel for birding now. Like if she
Yeah.
has time off and we're traveling, we take cameras and we bird. That's like what we're doing.
That's such a nice thing that both of you can share, that you can plan trips and both of you know going into it, like, is it good for birding? And if it's not, cross it off the damn list.
Right, yeah. It's good and bad. I mean, there's other stuff that I'd like to prioritize, and I think we
Yeah.
are encroaching on like kind of missing some opportunities because we're birding
Mhm.
more than we're doing other stuff. But it's we just got to talk about it. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
I think as long as we know kind of what it is, like I wasn't disappointed in the Texas trip because like we went. This is getting away from the Michigan cold and birding and like
Yep.
being outside, and that's what we did.
Cool.
Um, as far as that though, I watched. I guess I'll do this. I was going to do this after the photo share, but we'll just kind of get that out of the way, and maybe we'll just probably do most of the photo share. But I watched Listers, which was the documentary that Eric shared with us.
Yeah, I
But
didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I'm gonna watch it today.
cool. Then I won't say too much about the actual movie. But
Okay.
Elle had found it like the week before or something online, and
And since he sent it, I've been hearing a lot about it.
yeah. So it's super good. I think as far as filmmaking goes, it's very entertaining.
Okay.
It's kind of in like the Casey Neistat style of documentary stuff. They do a lot of like drawing, and they like make it's very Casey Neistat, which isn't a bad thing.
Okay. Sure.
Um, I still think that's really compelling storytelling. I would rather watch somebody hand making their like infographics and stuff than it just be all digital and stuff. The digital
Sure.
stuff's cool too, but it gives it a really homebrewed feel.
Yeah.
A lot of their footage is like on an old handy cam or something. Um, but it appears I didn't do too much digging, but there are two brothers. The brother who's doing most of the actual directing and making of the documentary, he's shot for National Geographic. Like I think a lot of his footage he's using like an A7S3.
Okay.
He gets and got incredible footage of most of the birds that they see.
Okay.
So it's cut with like this bad handy cam and like his brother who's like the talent, the basically the
Sure.
person of the documentary is running like a Nikon P1000 or P1100,
Yeah.
just a bridge camera, which is great. And uh they do this thing. So the basic synopsis is that this guy is not a birder. He gets stoned and goes, "How cool would it be to like know all the birds and my family's like bird guide?" So they do a big year basically.
Awesome.
That's the what you get from looking it up. But it's done really well, and it was kind of fun because what it did for me at least was one, it's super relatable. There will be so many moments that are funny if you bird.
Yeah.
There's also moments that are funny if you don't bird, so it's great for anybody.
Sure.
But there's like very relatable things like you remember feeling like stuff from eBird, things like
Yeah.
all that stuff. It's super relatable and really fun, um, and it's
Cool.
a pretty good journey. But I think I'm gonna go into 2026 birding with a video first mindset
Mm.
instead of getting photography.
Okay.
Um, I which kind of sucks because that means I'm probably going to be tripoding a lot more. I'm going to have to be hauling around more stuff.
Oh.
But I think it would be kind of advantageous to push myself as a videographer, filmmaker, cinematographer, whatever you're going to call it.
Sure.
Um, and instead of trying to get like these one frames, these like, and I'm not doing that so well. But maybe there's something in the video that like, I've done a couple of them with like the snowy or like I
Yep.
got a pileated woodpecker that I sat there and like pressed my lens up against a tree to stabilize it, and it took a bunch of shots of him just like digging at a tree.
Yeah.
And it is really compelling stuff. And if the world is going into vertical video and that's like all anything is doing, I happen to have skills that make it that I can make videos pretty compelling and nice.
Yeah. Are you thinking about anything more serious than like just clips or like longer projects?
I have some ideas. I'm not gonna get
Yeah.
into them until I start getting them into fruition or something.
Sure.
Elle and I kind of have a fun idea that could potentially happen regardless of
Cool.
what I end up doing. But um, I got to the point where I shot so much. Like I have so many, honestly, quite good bird photos that I never posted.
Right.
I have a bunch that I never edited.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that was my worry with video was like, okay, well, what happens if I get like these epic videos and then I just let them sit? Well, that's what I'm doing with the photos. So why wouldn't I just do the video stuff that I
Yeah.
enjoy? Like I really enjoy making videos.
Good.
So I'm going to challenge myself to do it. I'm going to have a hell of a tool to do it. I have a freaking A9 III.
Yes.
So I figure if I primarily focus on getting good video and then maybe get into like some of that 60 and 120 FPS like raw bursts,
Mhm.
I can probably get into some pretty interesting stuff that might be a little better than just like the skill gap is lessening with the technology. So like
Yeah.
everybody can take a A7 IV and a 200 to 600 and get some pretty wicked stuff.
Yep.
But if you match like one of the photos that I'm sharing today for my best of 2025, like if that was a video sequence, like that would be epic. So I'll talk about that a little bit. But
Okay.
that's kind of like my challenge to myself. I know we're going to do a ton of birding. I know that's like primarily what we're doing.
Sure.
And yeah, so
Very good.
yeah. So what about you? How's December? What have you been up to? What have you been
Boy,
shooting?
retail and the holiday seasons is so busy. I get home and I'm just like so exhausted. So I think I only really went out like 2 or 3 times.
Mm,
Um, Tony had asked me to do some portraits of him. I took the ZF and I think just the 51.4, and we did a black and white session. And we went to we had a couple of places lined up first, but they were both closed on that day and that time of day. So we ended up going to Northern Michigan University's art department, where I've spent a lot of time knowing what that environment's like. It's a little bit open, very industrial looking, and so for black and white, I thought, you know what, it's pretty monochromatic in there anyway, which is interesting for an art department section of the university, but it's very like gray. And there are art installations, but they're easy to avoid if you don't want those in your shots. So we walked around there, we did some black and white portraits, and then kind of towards the middle of our time there, but like towards the tail end of like, okay, we got what we want done. I kind of like just went into the camera settings and rediscovered the multiple exposure option in my camera, and was like, hey, do you mind if I just like play around with double exposures for a little bit, because this could be interesting. And so we did, and I think we spent probably another half hour, 45 minutes playing around with double exposures just inside the building, because it's, like I said, it's like industrial. So there's like piping, exposed piping, wires, like railings, all kinds of things that were just easily added elements that were overlaid with the double exposure option. And what's nice about the Nikon ZF that I remember playing with this once before, but it's able to show you a preview, like an overlay preview of the first image you shot, so that you can better compose for your total, composition. So this double exposure thing was fun. I haven't posted any of those yet, but I showed them to Tony and I showed them to a couple of the guys at the Finch Photographer Club that we have the meetings for, and it was very interesting because I remember on my older Nikons, you didn't used to get a preview.
Yeah.
You would take a shot and it'd be a black screen, and then you'd have to hope that your next shot lined up the way you'd wanted it to.
Right.
In addition to that, the ZF allows me like 5 different blend modes. So I could do like lighten or darken or multiply or overlay or whatever those types of blend modes are.
Sure.
And so I played with that and realized the strengths and weaknesses of some of those with some of the compositions I was using, partially because of that previewed overlay.
Right.
So I don't know that I'm going to be doing like a lot of it, but I am going to be playing with the multiple exposure modes again more frequently because I had a lot of fun. And one of the reasons that I stopped when I first got the ZF was because I found a bug where if you put a custom recipe, not one of the default like recipes like deep tone monochrome, but a custom recipe made by a user on and shot in JPEG, and then I took a shot, it would bug out, like the screen, like everything would freeze, and you'd have to turn the camera off
Oh.
if you were using double exposure mode. So like the custom recipes plus double exposure mode, something was not communicating correctly.
Right.
Since then, I don't know about custom recipes, but I did just deep tone monochrome for that whole thing. I am interested in seeing if maybe the recent firmware updates I've done to the ZF have helped fix that, but I didn't see that anywhere else. So we'll see. But I will be having more fun with that. That was really cool. Those aren't posted anywhere, and I'm not sure they will be, but maybe I can throw them up in the Discord. And in addition to that, I think we went out. I went out 2 times, just walking around because I got myself the TT Artisan 21 millimeter f1.5 lens. This is my first, I guess, entry into TT Artisan lenses.
Sure.
I've seen them forever, but I think like back in the day, like before mirrorless, they were really, really not advised for basically anybody, and they were manual then too. But now it
Yeah,
seems
I
like
always
all
I always get them and Seven Artisans mixed up, so I don't actually know which
yeah,
one was around first and which was
right,
which.
right.
But Chinese like lower end generally,
The
plasticky generally.
the floor has lifted, man.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
like the bottom of the barrel has now become like when Sigma started to become better,
Sure.
not quite, and like maybe the first generation of art line lenses, but like minus autofocus
Sure. Yeah.
for Seven Artisans and TT Artisans. In fact, I think Seven Artisans does have some autofocus stuff. I don't know, but anyway, the 21 millimeter is a very interesting lens. I have it right here actually. It's a very interesting lens. It's not too big. It's all metal. And it turns out when these Chinese manufacturers started getting a little better, when they design a lens that's specific for just a manual focus, slower paced use, they can do a pretty good job. Um, the all metal design, the focus ring turns really smoothly. The aperture ring is nice. It's like the construction I have no issues with. The only real issue is the image quality itself, which is kind of a big issue. But what you're asking for out of a $200 lens that opens up to f1.5
Right.
is you can't ask for also stellar optics, right?
Right.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't work
No,
that way.
that's what makes $1,000 lens.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a bulbous front element, so like it's not doing a whole lot of lifting as far as image quality goes, but it doesn't make it not fun. So I walked around 2 different days. The first day I got it, I just walked around Marquette's downtown a little bit. It was kind of snowy, and was just trying to take some like street style snaps. I got a couple of those that I did like, and I do believe that those got posted to my Instagram. And then 3 days later, Tony and I walked around uh, downtown Ishpeming because we were undergoing the biggest blizzard of the year. I think the biggest blizzard in the last 2 years. We got, I think it was 22 inches recorded in about a 12-hour span of time.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, I mean there were segments of time like in an hour we would get 4.5 inches,
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
just crazy amounts of snow. So by the time it was like done snowing, we went out and started walking around. It was just not a soul was around other than plow trucks and other than the people in front of their houses shoveling and snow blowing, so like the mail can come.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, like once the street plows came by and the drifts were up, like drifts were 4, 5, 6 feet high sometimes. So like if you're not shoveling so that your mail can come, you're not getting your mail. So we walked around. I had just the ZF. I put on a I did put on a recipe for a Tri-X black and white film sim,
Nice.
but I didn't end up using it because I shot RAW plus JPEG, and I was gonna go for a low contrast look, but I didn't. When I got back to Lightroom, I ended up not liking just how low contrast that one was.
Sure.
But I still ended up editing fairly low contrast for what my usual taste is. But I ended up getting, I think, like 20 something keepers from that. And I did post those, and that was just a lot of fun. I think I didn't play a lot with like f1.5. In fact, I think that entire second day I shot at f8. Everything was just aperture f8. And then I think I was like bopping between 1/500th of a second and maybe 1/1000 or 1/2000th of a second because it was just bright. Everything was bright. Exposure compensation down like 1/3, and then just let auto ISO go, like in those certain situations where like cars were going by and I'd pan or something. It was a slow paced kind of shooting experience, but there were certain scenarios where auto ISO helped out a little bit. But at f8, things look pretty good. Like I cannot complain for I paid $140 because it's a used lens,
Right.
and I bought it from KEH. Good experience there. And so for $140, I cannot ask for more. It was just really fun. We're working on another project, and I used it for video, hand holding like a vlog style video towards me, and it's like 400 grams or 450 grams, which is about a pound. So on top of the ZF, it's not nothing, but I can do it, which is great. Because with that lens and the vibration reduction in body, it was definitely watchable where the Viltrox 16 millimeter was not.
Yeah, just a little too
So
wide for that.
a little too wide, and like the corners and the distortion from the VR itself just
Right.
made that absolutely horrible. So at 21 millimeters, no problems. It was totally watchable. So I've just been having a lot of fun with that lens. It's been nice. I wish I could have got out a little bit more in December, but it is what it is when you've got coffee to roast and everyone's buying coffee for holiday gifts and whatnot. So
Yeah, for sure.
we're past that. I am excited to get out a little bit more now.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. December was a little crazy. I'm working at two different companies now, so trying
Yeah.
to juggle that is still a learning curve, and we're getting ready for our biggest industry trade show in January. So that's in
Yeah.
2.5 weeks. So I'll be gone. Well, I'll be getting ready for that, so I probably won't be doing a ton of shooting until then. And then I'll be basically from Saturday to Saturday in Las Vegas, which I'll have my camera and I'll be shooting for work. Um, but one of those things about looking at our best of 2025 is a lot of my shooting last year was work.
Yeah.
And
Me
like,
too.
and none of that is like the best of stuff for me anymore. Like,
Sure.
I used to get a lot of really killer shots that I really enjoyed. But 2025, without having Zach at Jaegerworks and
Uh huh.
kind of a huge shift in content, and like it was really lackluster. So I'm hoping to push into being more creative for both of my jobs this year for content, and getting back to like 2023, 2024 me, because I was like really making cool stuff for work back then. But
Do
I
you
really didn't
plan?
last year.
to do anything outside of work while you're in Vegas since you're there for a whole week?
I don't know that I can't try to plan to because
Sure.
I'm tied to doing work
Yeah.
stuff the whole time. I don't know what their expectation is of me. Again, I haven't been at this company very long. I'm sure it's going to be grueling and awful. I don't like Vegas very much at all. I don't really
I've
care
never
about
been.
Vegas. I've been to SHOT Show in 2023, and it's work. It's
Yeah.
like there's not a single thing about it that's like quote unquote fun. You try to make it fun. The people are awesome. Like I have a lot of people in the industry that I don't see the whole year, and I get to see them at SHOT Show.
Okay.
One of the people that submitted photos today, Frankie, I've known him through JagerWorks for I want to say 4 years or something, and he's going to be at SHOT Show, and I finally get to meet him.
Cool.
So yeah, it's going to be a busy month, but
It's all
hopefully
right.
we can get back into shooting a little bit. I'm excited for it. Um,
Yeah.
try as I might, even with all of the talk about trying to get out and shoot more, I definitely got shots of like family stuff and things like that, but
Mm,
I went through every folder I had on both of my computers from last year, and it still only amounted to like a few key weekends. It still wasn't like as
yeah.
much regular shooting as I would like to see.
I would probably say the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably like 5 or 6 like real outings or I would probably say the same.
Yeah. I tell you what though, what I didn't do and what I should do is go back through maybe I'll do a story on the Light Over Time Instagram. Or maybe I'll just make a post of like my favorite or best cell phone photos of 2025,
Oh.
because I almost exclusively, when taking a photo that I wanted to post to like a story or something, used Lightroom RAW and used my homebrewed film preset on all of
Yeah.
my cell phone photos, and I actually took a ton of them. That's
Okay.
that's where I took selfies with me and Elle. That's where I took like just like random abouts where I didn't have the camera. I got really used to like when I go to take a good photo, or when Elle wants a photo of something, she's like, "Hey, can you take this?" Because I can just open Lightroom and shoot it raw, and it looks really nice. So
Interesting.
maybe we should, if you have any, we can do the
I
same
probably
and
do.
make a little post about it because I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because the best camera is the one you have with you.
That is true. That is true.
But right on. So with no more memes, let's get into this. We have a pretty good selection of images today. We got a decent amount of submissions. Thank you everyone who submitted. Um,
Yeah.
our good buddy Mike, passive tourist, sent me a lovely email describing 3 images and did the fault that I probably do more than anyone ever at all of my work emails. How embarrassed I've been when I'm
Hmm.
sending somebody a quote or an invoice, and I'm like, "Hey, attached is your invoice," and I just never attach it.
I have
Uh,
done the same.
yep, he didn't attach any 3 of his images, so um, maybe I'll throw those in a story when.
I was gonna say you could try to describe them, but it might be fruitless.
Yeah. So we're gonna go in here. I have it set up. I'll do me. We'll go through yours, and then we'll go through the submissions.
Cool.
Um, I will pull up the emails. I'm not sure there was too much of like what I did in 2025 and what I hope to do in 2026, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just glad people submitted and they shared a little bit about the photos that they took, and that's cool. So,
Yeah.
okay. Changing screens. I'm on here. We're gonna get right into my first image.
Yep.
So
Beauty.
this is a fun photo because seconds before this photo was taken, I said, "Hey, Aaron, don't shoot my bag." And if you look closely, those are
Yeah.
beads from my absorbents. What am I looking at? Okay, sorry, I got a really dumb text. So that's my absorbents bag. Basically, it's like a silica gel bag. So when
Yeah.
your gear is wet, you can throw it in there, and it kind of like soaks it all up, and then you leave it out in the sun, and it dries out. But he shot it. I built this rifle for him. This was like the first day, him bringing it out to shoot it. One of my favorite things to do of all time is to build rifles from start to finish. There's a lot of little things you can do to optimize those gas systems and things like that, and that's a lot of fun. But yeah,
This
so
might be a stupid question, but should should he have been a little bit more forward on that bag?
Uh, it started that way.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, he definitely should have been, but the bag was folded funny, and we
okay,
were just
okay.
confirming zero, and he got up there and he dingled it. So,
All right.
um, I just think that's funny. I wanted to increase the embarrassment further along. This was
And there it is. Look at those beads.
Yeah, this was the 50 mil 1.4 GM. Love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
lens. It's great for this kind of stuff. I use it at work all the time for this exact kind of thing.
Nice.
I tried to not do tons and tons of birds. I could have easily done 10 of my best birds of
Same.
2025.
Yeah.
And I landed on this one, which we've talked about on the show. But
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad
there's
you picked this one.
there's almost nothing that's cooler than this. The story about finding it, the actual image is just wicked sharp.
What this
Um,
bird looks like just is so badass.
just rare, hard to see.
Yeah.
Proper wildlifing right here, which
And
was
just
awesome.
it was a great story. Where you were and what you did to get there.
Yeah. So the TLDR for those who haven't seen the episode, this was in Mexico. We were in Tulum, and we were kind of like, what would I say, northeast of Tulum, and we literally were staying in a treehouse in a jungle. Basically, it was like developing um, areas where they're trying to grow out from Tulum, and we found a little path that we probably weren't supposed to look in. It was marked for like construction, like they were probably going to build paths through this way, which actually makes this a much sadder story than I
Yeah.
kind of want it to be. But these guys make a really funny noise, and at nighttime you could hear them like kind of calling to each other all through the woods. But they're really elusive, and they're massive. I mean, this thing is gotta be.
What does that call sound like, Corey? Come on now.
It's super funny. Not quite an owl, not quite a like caw.
Yeah.
But it was cool. So this is if I could get more images and more stories like this one, that would be epic. Because
100%.
he looked over at us. I was like trying. I snapped like 2 photos, and then I was trying to get Elle to be able to snap a photo before it flew away, and she just could not like see through the. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever birded with anybody, you know exactly what I mean. But like you can be staring right at a bird, and then you're like, dude, I'm looking at a bunch of trees. Like my eyes aren't focusing on any one thing.
And you could be shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, turns out that's why birds look the way they do, is so you can't find them super easy.
Yes.
But yeah,
Great
just
shot. Great shot.
epic freaking bird. And then I had like my short ear owl, and I had like a bunch of other stuff that I was gonna do, but then I landed on this one. This was from Christmas Eve.
Oh, nice.
They played a game with magnets, and one of them just disappeared. And we're playing, games with a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, or 4-ish, and a 6 or 7-year-old ish.
Oh man.
And so they flipped the table, which is quite a massive wooden table. And this is Elle, both of her sisters, and my 2 future brother-in-laws, searching for a singular magnet. Quite fun. This is why you bring your camera, though, because
Yeah.
that story will be told, I'm sure, a decade from now, and I have a photo of it.
Photo to back it up. That's great.
But super fun. Again, hoping to do more of this. I got a lot of photos of these folks this year. And obviously they're the family that I'm marrying into soon. So
yeah.
it's nice to be able to do that. And I know Elle really appreciates it. I took a handful of photos this Christmas, and she posted a bunch, and she's always super grateful for them. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah. So that's my best of. I kind of already got into it, but obviously we really leveled up our birding this year. I learned a lot more about like the autofocus modes of the Sonys, like really got into the strengths and weaknesses of the different sensors.
Yeah.
And kind of figured out what I like. I'd like to kind of figure out, I want to focus less on trying to obtain gear this year and figure out how to maximize what I'm doing. There's a chance I get an A7 V still, and there's a chance that I get the 28-70. I think I mentioned that in the last episode.
My God.
But I'm self-shooting a bunch of wedding stuff after our wedding, and I kind of want to be able to maximize our ability to do so. So that might happen for multiple reasons. But outside of that, I don't really have a reason to get anything else.
Sure.
So I'm gonna try and limit it to that. Maybe I'll get a 35 again because I'm selling my 40.
I'm just
But
here to be your yes man on all of these things. Whether you say
I
you want new gear or you don't, I'm
I
here for
know,
you.
I know, but it's nice. So I'm I said this when I got the A9. It's like you did it.
Yeah.
You're where you're at. You're where you need to be to capture what you need to capture. So
Right.
push back into a little bit more video stuff. Don't let not open gate or don't let this, that, the other thing stop me
Right.
from wanting to try and produce like super dope video stuff. And that's kind of my goals
It
is
is the plan of these companies to make their top end cameras still feel like you could want more, right?
I mean, that's how, capitalism works.
Yeah. So you could have an A1 or an A9 III and be like, but that camera has this.
Yeah.
Don't let that don't let that hurt you too much here.
Yeah, it's like freaking Eric asking if he should sell one of his cameras to upgrade to the A7 V. My man has an A1.
I know. I
And
know.
yeah, it's a couple years old, but there are strengths that thing topples my A9 III in a bunch of ways.
And just if you know his work, the stuff he's always posting, he's getting it done. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah.
whatever he had, didn't really need to change it.
Yeah. I can't remember if he's got an A9 or an A9 II, but I think it's an A9. I think it's like the original one, but that's
I think you're
still
right.
a fast 24 megapixels. It's beautiful. Just
Yeah.
there are some benefits to some of the stuff, but I think we successfully talked him off the ledge pretty quickly. He's like, "Oh yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
so.
I
Yeah.
I, I have an A1. What am I talking about? I
Yeah.
don't need new fancy stuff." It's pretty cool. But yeah, all right. Moving on to yours. We are going to start with this beautiful burb.
Yeah, I don't think it could be anything else. I shot a lot of birds this year. I think the total shutter count from both cameras this year was right around 150,000, and that's only from April. I'm not counting any of the shots I could have taken on the A7 IV when I sold that in May. So I got the ZF in April. I think I got the Z8 in May, if that sounds kind of right, because it was right in time for spring migration. This though was in September, I believe, and if I'm remembering correctly, red-tailed hawk. And we were on top of Mount Marquette, and we were just there to shoot a sunrise. It was our photo club, the Finch Photo Club, Secret Society of the Finch. There was 3 or 4 of us, I believe. Me, Kurt, Tony, and Paul. So 4 of us. And we did have a beautiful sunrise. Man, we climbed around Mount Marquette. There was lots to work with, good foreground. There was beautiful golden light. Just as soon as the sun touched the horizon, it started spilling onto the foreground. So we were getting all kinds of good stuff. And then the sun was up a little bit, but it was still nice and golden. And there were ravens and crows, other hawks, and a couple of eagles just in the area because we're so high up. We could see quite a ways away, and these guys were all around. And this one was more focused on us than any of the other birds. I think we were probably right around a tree he fancied or something. So he kept kind of dive bombing us a little bit. So as soon as I was done with my sunrise landscape photography, I put that 16 mil away and put the 500 mil out, and I'm so glad that I brought it.
Yeah.
So glad because it turned out to be one of my favorite shots of the year. And yes, I told myself with all the birding I'd done, I'm just going to pick one bird shot, and it couldn't be any other shot.
Yeah. I
Dead
mean,
on
this is
look.
so freaking sharp.
Yeah.
Really, really showing how nice that 500 prime can be. Obviously, it has its cons being a prime, but
Yeah.
dang, dude, that's sick.
But it killed it. And then I didn't do a ton of editing. Just I think I did some subject selection and darken the background a little bit just to add a little contrast. And it's been a while now, so I can't remember some of the micro adjustments I made, but I remember it not being a ton.
Yeah. I
So
imagine I imagine it was just really hot on the front of the bird and fell
yeah,
into shadow really starkly, right?
yeah. So just a little bit of exposure adjustments, both for the bird and the background,
Yeah.
and maybe some sharpness adjustments, but I can't quite remember, so I don't want to misquote myself. But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. He stuck with us for a few minutes, like in this distance, just kept kind of circling and dive bombing, and he finally let up. But when I got this look, I looked at it in camera. I'm like, that's it. He looked at me. That's it. We're done here.
Yeah, that's epic.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with that one. I even printed it off because I just needed to have it in my house, but I gotta print it again because I gotta make an adjustment for the printer. The contrast was way too high on the printer,
Mm.
but it's a nice one. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's epic.
Okay. These next two images are unseen by anyone other than me so far this year, or so far last year, since I've taken them. This shot was sunrise before I went out and did the shooting for the LSRP rally races. I was walking to the armory in Ishpeming where the LSRP meet happened before the races, and it was a beautiful sunrise. It was just golden light coming through, and there was this area is like an undeveloped patch of land between the highway and where the residential areas start in Ishpeming. And there is a little set of trails in there, but I'm not sure if they're people trails or deer trails.
Yeah, right.
So when I was walking, I put the 51.4 on, and this is like a case that I like to look back on this image and go, okay, you can have cheap glass and still get nice images. The 51.4 is one of the like cheapest built 51.4s I've ever seen. Nikon made this lens, and to make an affordable 51.4 is cool, but you can see the chromatic aberration in the trees. The lens is just it's pretty soft. Um, I had a high shutter speed, so there was no motion blur involved. So anything that's even a little bit out of focus kind of looks, you know, it is what it is. I think I was at 1.4 there.
Yeah.
So it's very soft. It's just like one of the softest out of box lenses I've ever used, especially at 1.4. But it's still fun to use. It was affordable. It's lightweight. Like the glass, just it's like the whole lens just feels it's small and light for a 1.4. So it doesn't mean I couldn't take good images. I looked at this. It was foggy in there. That light just kind of like flooded in and dispersed through the fog. And I liked how the dead trees kind of looked through that light in the fog.
Yeah. I mean, it's gorgeous, right? Tones are great.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
cool.
Ended up being one of my favorites, and I took a lot of shots. I don't know. It's just something about capturing nice light like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah. It's interesting with the 50s too, because like, um, obviously back in the DSLR days, everybody had like a nifty 50, so like $100
Yeah.
1.8. But even Canon's USM 1.4 for like 15 years or something was like the chromatic aberration on it's way worse than the 1.8. And it was plasticky and whatever. So I wonder if it was just like they had that kind of that recipe, that
Yeah.
optical formula kind of floating around, and they're like, we can make it cheap by doing this and make
Yeah.
it do what it. But I mean, you're putting it on cameras that are gonna gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as
Yes.
resolution. But I could imagine that the Z8 is this Z8?
This is ZF actually. I
Okay,
think
ZF.
this is ZF.
Yeah, it just says the lens. I don't think it tells me the body.
I think it's
Um,
ZF.
but yeah, I mean, you're working with a sensor that's gonna resolve beyond what that lens is capable of, you know.
Totally. Yeah.
So anyway, it's beautiful for sure. Love
Yeah.
it. Love to see it.
And this was just a fun trip all around. Nobody has really seen any images from this trip other than the one set of images from the top of oh shoot, I've already forgotten the name of the mountain that's out in Copper Harbor, but this image is in Copper Harbor. It was the second day. We had just woken up. We car camped in front of this park and walked out on what looks like it could be Black Rocks in Marquette, but it's not. It's on Lake Superior. Tony and I kind of split up just a little bit. I took one section of this park, he took another. And the sun was coming up. The skies got real pinky, cotton candy looking. And to the right, so if I turned 90 degrees to the right, there's an island out there that I was shooting, and I have lots of images of that looked nice too. The sun was right behind and off to the left a little bit of that. So even though it looks like the sun could be somewhere to the right of Tony here in this image, it was actually further to the right. But when I looked to my left and saw like Tony's position on these rocks with like the water and the sky, I was like, I I have to take shots of him doing this. And I have an affinity for kind of documenting what we do as photographers too. If I'm out with some of the other members,
Yeah.
I like to do that.
Yeah,
So
it's hard for me not to do it either. I love it.
yeah, yeah, especially when I think I'm already pretty good at marrying like the idea of landscape photography with another subject. So like with wildlife or with people, it was not difficult for me to like look at this and zoom out a little bit and compose between him and everything else going on, because the water was um, rushing around pretty good. It was not a calm day. It was a little bit windy, and so I had all this motion from the water just like piling up towards me, because you can see there's one big rock in the foreground there.
Right.
So what did I use? A second. This is a second long exposure at ISO 160, 16 mil with the Viltrox lens at f16. So trying to get just as much as I can in focus between the first visible set of rocks and him. Uh, and I like it a lot. Just the colors, the composition. It's a bit minimalistic at the same time. It's also capturing a lot of motion. So I thought there was a lot to like about this image, and I will be sharing more from this Copper Harbor trip. It will probably be in multiple posts because I have like 200 something keepers from these 2 days.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. This says a lot about your Viltrox too. Like some I not cheaper but lower end questionable like lens formulas really fall apart if you're trying to get this much sharp at f16.
Yeah,
Diffraction and all that can really kind of start to soften up your image a ton. And this is still pretty dang sharp for as much as it's keeping in focus and
yeah.
whatnot.
I would say where Viltrox kind of that's a positive for this lens, but where the lens falls apart a little bit is lens flare. So
Well,
if,
yeah,
I don't know if it's just a coatings formula thing, but if you're looking at the sun, just flare all over the place, and some of it is hard enough that you can't really get rid of it easily. So, but it's a look, and if you like the look, then you'll like the lens.
well, and again, the really high technological coatings is where you're going to go, okay, well, here's another $500 into the price of your lens. Like,
Yeah,
you just, that's why people, if they don't like lens flares, go to, G Master or whatever
exactly. Yep.
so that is a complete fair point for that price range of lenses.
And that's a 1.8 lens also. Like
Right.
you're at 16 millimeters and can open up to get lots of light.
Yeah, for sure. So like again, I would just assume it'd be super soft when you started pushing it.
Right.
What gosh, what was I gonna say? Does that lens come with a hood, or does it have an option
Yeah,
to buy
it
one?
does. It
Okay,
does come with a hood. Yep, yep.
right.
You can put screw-on filters. The element is not bulbous in front of the filter
Okay, right.
fitting.
Because I mean, obviously that's the first mechanism to try and fight that, and it can be kind of challenging. Hoods in general on lower end glass with that wide can also be, bad vignette
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there's a lot of there's a lot of things to it.
Well, for me, it's like with that lens, especially, that would be the lens I would choose when looking right at a sunrise.
Right.
So the lens isn't gonna, or the hood wouldn't do a whole
Yeah,
lot anyway.
for sure.
In some situations, like in this situation, with the hood on, with the sun being off to the right, yeah, it might have done something for me there.
Yeah.
And I might have had it on. I can't recall if I had an ND filter or not. Maybe not if I was at f16.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Nice
Yeah.
images. I gotta try and take more landscapes. I'm not amazing at it.
Yeah. And for 2026, I will be doing birding again. There are two things that I want to kind of improve on. One with I want to do more astrophotography, and when Tony and I went to Lance for the waterfall stuff during the Northern Lights, and him using his lights to light up the foreground, I want to do more of that. That was a lot of fun. Just kind of like showing off more details of an environment at a time of day when it's really hard to see those details with other things going on. So whether it's Milky Way or Northern Lights, that was just a ton of fun, and I'd like to experiment with that more. And then with birding, I want to slow down.
Yeah.
Not slow down the frequency of me going out, but slow down my firing rate. I don't need to take 150,000 images in a year. I don't need 40 of the same shot in a span of a second and a half.
D-
Um,
does your Nikon give you the option to do like a hold speed boost thing?
I don't think so.
because it's legendary. It's like
Yeah, I
it's
need to
helped me
look
so much
into
because
that.
the problem with high shutter speeds is like even if you're above 20 FPS,
Yeah.
uh, with the electronic shutters you forget that it's on. You're like,
Yeah.
I just shot another 100 photos. I meant to put that back down to 10 FPS.
Yeah,
So
I
that happens to
actually
me a ton.
unless I'm like with warblers in close quarters, I will keep the noise on, like a digital noise for the
Oh, okay.
shutter. I keep that on because it
So you
keeps
know,
me reminded. Yes, I remind myself of how fast that shutter rate is.
yeah,
But I don't need that much data. You know,
right, yeah, I agree.
oftentimes I want to be able to like in the tail end of this year, I was slowing down to 10 FPS or even slower, 6 or 8 FPS, just because I know that I didn't need that much, and I don't want to have to go through all of that much, and I want to be a little bit more intentional. So I've been listening to a lot of like birding photography podcasts lately of people who actively slow down like that, and I want to be better about that. So
Yeah,
those are my two.
yeah. The huge benefit to the A1 for birding is that the drive is on a physical dial. I don't
Yeah.
know about the Nikon, but obviously the other Sony's, the lower end Sony's, it's in a menu. So
Yeah, it's in
like,
the menu and
yeah, you got to like function, but I can just always quickly look and see, oh, I'm on L. So I use the low most of the time, and I can hold a button to get 120, or I can set it to 60. And that's helped me a ton because like I keep it fully quiet, um,
yeah.
because the A9 is kind of a weird like, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
If I didn't already use all my custom function buttons the way that I do, I would probably set the drive mode to one of the custom function buttons,
Yeah,
but it is in the menus. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that very viscerally.
Yeah.
Um, Godspeed to taking less, but
And
more, less images, but more better images.
yeah, 2026 was a year of many new birds for me. And, a lot of the shots that I got were just like, okay, I got the shot. We'll move on to the next bird. This year will be, okay, I've seen that bird last year. I don't need another crappy shot of that bird.
Right.
I can pass on it and not take that shot this time. But it was nice to see it.
Yeah, that was I started to do a lot more of that, and that's partial why I haven't edited so many birds because like
Yeah.
I like am no longer interested in shooting all the same looking shorebirds and trying to
Right.
decipher which one is which
Right.
unless I'm really close and get a cool photo of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel you. I'm excited. You're gonna probably shoot some epic stuff. I love how different your bird images look than mine.
Mm.
They're always refreshing to look at because something about how you shoot and what you're shooting with and the birds that you see and how you edit is just so much different than the birds that I'm getting. So it's always fun.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right, getting into some submissions. So this first set of three comes from Brandon Talbot. I've talked about him a couple of times on the channel. He has turned into, I believe he actually has a partnership and has signed NDAs with Nikon now. So
Ah,
he became kind of like the de facto Nikon ZR guy. He does a lot of commercial work and a bunch of other stuff, and he's a YouTuber. And he runs Red stuff. So
yeah.
when the ZR came out, he was like, okay, so mini Red, this is my wheelhouse, and he just like hit the ground
They made
running.
that camera for him.
Yeah, yeah, and it was really cool because he's just really knowledgeable. All things said, I did invite him to submit his images. He has a video that goes, I think, into most of these. Tells the story a little bit more if you're interested. I'll obviously link his channel below.
Sweet.
Go take a look at that because he's a good storyteller and he just has a lot of interesting stuff.
I will do that.
This first image is
Oh,
um, an amazing image of a bison.
yeah. Wow.
And let me zoom into this massive thing. So what is this is 11,600 pixels by 4601.
Wow.
This is shot on the H6D 100C Hasselblad with
Okay.
with a HC300 f4.5
Heck yeah.
at f5, 200 ISO, 1/400 of a second. This is in Antelope Island. He says probably my favorite photo I've taken this year for a myriad of personal reasons, but yeah,
Personal reasons aside, it's a beautiful shot.
yeah, the tones are good. The separation off. I mean, it's a huge censored medium
Yeah.
format digital camera. Super epic. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do have to note it's really funny. He says, "Here's my pile of crap I'm submitting. Have a good time with it." Also, I don't know if the quality of the file is going to actually come through. Apologize if it sucks. I just find that funny. No, it's pretty dope, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah.
This one is cool. He explains the story of this really well in the video, so definitely go watch his video.
Oh
Um,
yeah. This one
but
does need a story, doesn't it?
yeah, well, what's wild is it's not staged. It looks like it's like a wild stage thing, but this is in Hanksville, Utah, the
Okay.
like Mars project, and
Oh.
uh, I'll let him tell the story. But this is shot on a Leica SL2S. Is that where we're at? No, this is the SL2S 24 to 90. Um, Beautiful image, just cool. ISO 50 f4.
Mm,
Um, what a shot to not have staged, because I mean it's Mars.
no kidding. Yeah.
So definitely go watch the video and
Very
listen to that
cool.
story because it's cool. And then this last one is,
Ugh.
dare I say, cinematic AF.
A little bit, huh?
So this is Seal Beach in California. He says pretty dystopian, which I like with a heavy marine layer. Also the SL2S and the 24 to 90. But
Yeah.
just, I mean, that's what is this Blade Runner? Are you Deacons, Brandon? So
He's got my heart with these panoramic wides.
yeah, for sure. So he's got a style. He does say in one of his videos recently that he's going to print this out just like 9 foot wide and try to sell it to some like hotel
Yeah.
or something for a
Absolutely.
bazillion dollars. And I wish him well because it's worth it. It's an
Yeah.
epic photo. But yeah, so those are Brandon's.
Thank you,
Again,
Brent.
link down below to his Instagram and his thing. I'll link everybody here. But yeah, pretty cool.
If you are listening to this episode, stop and go on YouTube and watch this.
Yeah, definitely. These are some. We got some good submissions. My cat just broke something downstairs. We love that.
Nice.
All right, so the next set is from my buddy Frankie. Shame on him. This looks like he just took it from his Instagram and screenshotted it.
Oh.
Um, unless I did that, I don't know. I can't remember. But Mini 14, I believe. Let me go to the email. I believe these are all on his R62 with the RF51.2.
1-2. I was gonna
Um,
ask. That is
and then
beautiful, shallow depth of field.
yeah, and then he's running a Godox 80 200 light on a lot of these. So
Oh.
he says, I really love how a strobe brings the textures out and how much it separates the subject from the background. I learned that I love shooting in shade on a brighter day or at blue hour with my strobe. I love the way the background still has a glow while making sure the subject stands out.
I'm assuming is it off camera to the left there?
Yeah, that's what it looks
Yeah.
like. Probably in a box or something.
That's cool. I mean, used very well.
Um, he says, these 3 photos are some of my favorites. I feel like even though they may look simple, I had to make things work well behind the scenes to get everything set up just right,
Yeah.
to make them look the way I wanted. I'm very proud of them, and he should be.
Yes.
He's come a long way. He was never he's one of the gun guys that like was always making content and stuff, but he really leveled up, went into the R6 system, and was like, now I'm taking this seriously. And he's getting some cool little collaborations, and he's working with Ruger, and he's working with some other people, and yeah, dude's awesome.
Very nice.
He does a ton of knife stuff.
Oh,
This is gorgeous. I mean,
yeah.
this is one of the things where like it's really easy to go shallow depth of field when you're doing products and stuff, and it just like it's like easy, right? Like that's what people do, and that's but like for good reason because this is gorgeous, right? Like I'm sure finding where to put the flash and like making sure that the background wasn't completely obscuring this knife wasn't easy like he had kind of suggested. But the texture on the blades, things like that, like this is freaking gorgeous.
Both of these images like scream to me person who has experience in other types of photography first
Yeah.
before product photography, where they bring in these elements of experience that they have with, landscape photography or like other nature photography or something else that kind of gives them a little bit of a twist on this.
Yeah, I feel like he got right into it from kind of Gunstagram. So
That's crazy.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of the story more or less.
He's doing it very well.
Yeah, it's dope. Here's another one. This looks like he's self shooting, so over his own shoulder with some speed loaders on a Ruger Red Hawk.
Cool.
2 3/4 inch. 8-cylinder revolver, pretty cool. I have the
Yeah,
the brother revolver now. I have the 4.25 inch, 4.2 inch version of this now, and it's super slick. Yeah,
that's nice.
just a cool perspective and a cool shot for, again, that freaking, for being pretty early to the game on a 51.2 and mirrorless. It still
Yeah,
performs pretty well. It's such a cool lens,
for sure.
and he does good work.
I would say so.
With much love, Frankie. Good work, man.
The light manipulation skills are a good skill to have. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I think the Flash game really leveled his stuff up because he's taking it super seriously, and it shows in his work. Like it does a lot.
No doubt.
All right, I think we're getting, this is Tony.
Yes.
Tony. All right,
I
so what were you gonna say?
I remember the night he shot this. We were talking about it recently.
Yeah,
I think I was already at home. I remember driving through the storm, getting home, and I think he had told me he was going to go and shoot lightning, and I was like, "Good luck, bro. I'm going home," or something like that.
sure.
And he didn't need the luck because he put himself in the position, and what a shot he got. I love this one.
He did it. I mean, the only conceivable way I could enjoy this more is if that little tuft of tree wasn't obscuring like right where it's in the clouds. But
Yeah.
like, I can't even say anything. I've never gotten such a good lightning photo.
My
Um,
first couple years shooting, I tried really, really hard because in where I was in Petoskey, for some reason I could see the storms roll by often, but I
that
could
big
never
hill,
get one
man.
like
It's,
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Petoskey was cool for it. I remember trying with my old 70 there and
yeah,
failing miserably.
yeah.
Um,
I lived at the top of Mitchell, so there was a lot to see off the back deck,
yeah.
and could never get it quite like this. This is beautiful.
Yeah, super nice and super sharp. This is with the FE 20 mil 18G on a A7C2, and like, what more do you want?
Right.
Super cool.
Um,
I
just
like,
and nicely composed. I love the reflection from top to bottom through the water.
yeah,
I love the framing with the grass.
yeah,
This is the lake that he and I both live right next to, Lake Bancroft. So good job, Tony.
yeah. This is epic. Um, Says the lightning image is special to me because it's the best capture of lightning I've achieved. I don't doubt it. I've had taken roughly 600 shots a few nights before, and before this, and hardly any of them were good. That is our experience. So way to stick with it. This is an impromptu drive down Lake Bancroft after work because I knew a storm was brewing. Glad I stopped. Lots of editing to remove water spots though. That's
Yeah.
funny. I assume it was just pouring its butt off.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love that. Good work, man. Next one. This is like too close to home
Yeah.
for you, David.
Yeah. So he took two trips out to this area, one with me and one with not with me. And I think this might have come from the time that I was not there, but we both shot this area. It was a lot of fun. Milky Way looking back towards Marquette. And so the glow at the center of the horizon, there's Marquette city lights, which all, all things given, you can still shoot the Milky Way with those city lights, and that's nice. So, and he did it.
And so this is pretty crazy actually because this is really impressive to me because this is an A6700 with an 11 mil 1.8.
Yeah.
This is 11 images stacked
Yeah.
in Sequator, and then the foreground is a single image denoised in DxO Pure Raw.
There you go.
But yeah, like this is epic. The Milky Way image was a labor of love. David helped me capture the Milky Way properly the first time, roughly a week before, like you had said.
Yeah. There we go.
And then I wanted to try stacking. This was the most time I had spent capturing and editing a photo. Nice. It looks great. Like,
Yeah.
you know, P. Shaw, all the folks who are like, well, you need to get a full frame camera and all this stuff to do good photo. Because this is I mean, arguably a very, very good APS-C camera, but it is an APS-C camera. So good work.
But the ceiling at which you can improve a crop sensor image with stacking
Yeah.
is actually huge
Right.
if you have a worse sensor. So if you have a worse sensor, the more you stack, the more benefit you gain. So
Yeah.
as long as you have the knowledge and for the most part, there are free tools out there to do this, which is what he used.
Right.
Sequator is free. As long as you have the knowledge and patience to do this and to put this stuff together, you can make what looks like a very clean full frame image, but it's coming from a crop sensor,
Yeah.
and that's nice. So he did good work. I know this was, I don't know if this was his first time stacking, but I remember we had talked through what that was like, and good on him for really putting that to practice.
Yeah. And that's a very little crop on that sensor. It's still 5500 on the long edge. So like that's very printable too. Like
Nice,
that would look really nice on a wall.
definitely.
Good work. And then here's a good one from, I have to assume, when you guys were out there, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think I remember him splitting off and saying there's like these nice ice like plates down towards the water, and I was like, all right, cool, bro. I might check that out later, and I forgot to check it out. So this is his stuff from that.
This is cool. He actually has a lens that I want to try, the 24 to 50. It looks like this is at
He
35
loves that
mil.
lens.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah,
On the A7C2, that's just a killer little setup. But this is
yeah,
shot at f8, ISO 800, 1/500th of a second, which is great because like you wouldn't want to wash away these white peaks very much because they look so
right,
nice.
right.
It's always a balancing act. Like, what am I trying to capture this time with water?
Yep,
You do waterfalls and water all the time, a lot more
yeah.
than I do. But it's definitely a communication between your brain and what's happening in front of you.
And I'd
Um,
say he did well. His Instagram keeps that well in place there.
For sure. So this Black Rocks image was from the trip you guys discussed on the last episode. This was my first experience seeing waves like this up close on Superior. I know the waves can be stronger than that, but no joke, I told David that I felt alive being out there.
Yeah, I
Something
bet.
about all that movement energy. Yeah, I mean, absolutely right. I haven't seen waves, Great Lakes waves like this in probably a, like over 6 or 7 years. But it's always cool to see how nasty Superior can get, and
For sure.
on the anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago when we had that blizzard, there were recorded 30 and 35-foot waves.
yeah,
35-foot waves on Superior
yeah,
in our area.
and
So,
inland seas, guys, inland
yeah,
seas.
crazy.
But thanks for submitting, Tony. Always appreciated. Thanks for listening so much as well. Glad you support the little community we've been doing, and it's been a great time.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. Let's go to these next ones. This is Harry's photos. So
Haley guy.
I'm gonna always be a sucker for dog photos. So
Yeah.
Mans was out here trying to make me happy. So I'll get into this email real quick. Hope you're both good in dealing with your amazing snow in the U.S. It is just warm and wet in the U.K. The first image was taken earlier in the year of our. Oh, okay, this is backwards. I did it backwards. I'm sorry.
Mm,
Enjoying a puddle. So this is Pepper.
all right.
Love that I nailed focus on her eyes. The water's frozen. This is an EM1 Mark II with a 45-1.8. Gotta love the Micro Four Thirds life.
Oh, wow.
Um, the water is frozen, going everywhere. I want to capture the character and the emotion and moments of my pets. Not perfectly posed, sterile shots. This one just makes me happy. This one makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
That is called nailing
Who
it, my
couldn't be
friend.
happy looking at
Yeah,
this image?
yeah. Look at that pupper.
Beautiful.
We love to see it. Always fun getting dirty with the dogs.
You had a plan and you executed.
Also says, thank you for an amazing year of podcasts. You make work and rainy, cold trips to the horses fun and interesting. We
Oh,
super appreciate it. You have no idea what it means to be in someone's ear on their daily commutes and their nonsense.
love that.
That's awesome. So this is freaking adorable.
I know.
This was in the Discord. This is Oscar, the foster puppy.
Hmm.
I love this one because it felt like it captured his mood in the moment as best as I can find. I can, for once, that overpowered the noise in the image. Constant battle with Micro Four Thirds, yes.
Mm.
I love the character of the photo, and it feels a bit different to what I usually do too, but it is something that I always aim for now. This is at 1.8, 1600 ISO. Look at this little bubber.
I
Tell
like it. It's layered well. Composition is just beautiful. Paired with that shallower depth of field, it's just gorgeous.
this is like newborn, like human infant photos, but for a
Yeah,
puppy. It's beautiful.
yeah.
The
It's
lights,
very
the
well
right
done.
lights in the right spot. If you didn't boop Oscar's tongue, I don't know who you are. But that's what I would have done.
Gorgeous.
I did this one backwards, so here is this photo's cool as shit.
Whoa.
So The first image was taken earlier in the year of our 26-year-old rescued racehorse having a play in the frost and the fog.
Oh, yeah, it is Frost, isn't it?
I,
That's
I had
cool.
never edited an image in this way before, and it was really fun going totally different. My palette is usually warmer. It is also special to have these memories of him being a happy horse.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Look at this.
absolutely.
When I before you said anything, I was concerned, but you put the story together, and all you
Yeah,
can do is smile.
yeah,
He makes images that make people smile. That's so
yeah.
nice.
Shaking his little back on the ground, just living his little horse life. We love
Ah,
that.
I
I
do.
personally, I'm not a horse guy. I think they sketch me out. I'm trying to get over it. Um, that's a story
Big
for another.
mammals, man, they can end you.
I still think that the only reason that horses don't run the world is because they choose not to.
Yeah, sure, sure.
They're pretty smart and pretty strong and pretty fast.
Yes.
Um, that's why in the revolution there will be horses with machine guns on their back, kind of like Zoids. Think Zoids.
Oh,
That's what I hope for.
okay.
But anyway, Harry, jeez, um, Harry Bennett from the UK. Thank you for these beautiful, heartwarming images, and especially of Pepper and Oscar.
Thanks for making me smile. These are beautiful.
All right, moving on to Kurt.
Kurt, this
Okay,
is
so
nice.
Kurt didn't include a ton, but that's fine. We know what these are, and we're gonna get through them. This is epic.
Mhm.
I don't even have close to as cool of a photo of a peregrine as this is.
Mhm.
Um, just epic. We love to see it. Um, I wonder if
Whenever Go ahead.
I wonder if I can't remember if Kurt does a ton of black and white or if the colors were just kind of lame and not awesome for this or whatever, or like what the choice was to make it black
Oh,
and white, but it works really well for it and I like it.
I don't recall him having an affinity for black and white more often than not, but I can say that he is like the guy who knows what's up with the peregrine falcons among us.
Nice.
He spends a lot of time with them,
Yeah.
so I imagine he just figured this was a good time to use it because he's got lots of other shots with peregrine falcons, and he tends to get the shots where peregrine falcons are eating some crazy stuff. Like they'll catch bats out of the sky, and he'll be like, "Hey, did you see the peregrine falcons ate this like crazy bat? I got a picture to show you." I'm like, "Oh my god!" So
Yeah.
he gets these, and I love it. He spends a lot of time out there to kind of keep up with them.
Yeah, this is super awesome.
Yeah,
I aspire to have very different looking bird images of birds, and that's one of them. Like I have peregrines flying, I have them perched on top of trees, but from this perspective, close up like that's pretty cool.
yeah. And again, I just like to say it, D750 with the older Sigma 150 to 600, I believe, you can get good work done on generations old gear. It's like it wasn't that long ago that I was using the D850 and the D500 and stuff like that, and getting wildlife done. So you
Yeah,
don't need the greatest and latest.
right. You just have to know what you're doing
Know what you're doing,
and
and
get after it. Turns out you can't get good photos if you don't go shoot photos.
hey, there you go.
This one's cool.
Yeah.
Pinhole Arizona can with photo paper.
Hmm.
Um, I can't remember at one point. I can't remember if maybe I just missed it or I read it when it was posted somewhere else, maybe in the Discord or on Instagram or something. This was like a really long time, right? Was this multiple days?
Typically, he's doing 2, 3, 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know what this one was, but I remember him showing us, and very, very cool. You can see the solography there of the sun tracking
yeah, it's cool as hell.
on the left side. Yeah.
They I've seen a couple of videos of people doing this and they'll leave them like in nature areas and stuff and it's always so sad to me when somebody like kicks it or whatever and you just like
Yeah.
see I'm like, dude, come on.
I think he did deal with that one time.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, he's been pretty successful with these.
Yeah, they're super cool. I've seen a few of them. I haven't seen a ton of them, but they're always tight.
Yeah.
And then this
This oh,
some more landscape action with
I told him to his face, this is my favorite shot he
yeah,
has taken this year.
yeah, so many layers too. Because is this smoke or fog in the center?
It's fog, yeah.
Yeah. So you have like clean atmospheric, as clean of a leading line from the whole perspective of the shot to get right into the center and back.
Yeah.
Beautiful sunset after a thunderstorm.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I guess if it's fog, it's probably like steam from rain cooling off the ground, maybe.
I don't think so. That night was the night Northern Lights were supposed to
Oh,
pop off,
okay.
and they did pop off. So he was there in preparation for that.
Oh, dang.
Tony and I were out at Greenwood Reservoir also seeing an amazing sunset there, but we got there a little bit late, so we had to really hoof it to get anything out of that. He was in place earlier and got this shot and was rewarded for his early arrival. So
Yeah.
this was nice.
Like, yeah, that's clean. That's, definitely printable, but easy like wallpaper background on your computer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's it's probably not what landscape photographers care about, but for me when I take landscape stuff, I'm like, do I want to put this in the on my laptop monitor or not? Is kind of how I gauge if I like it or not. Like, do I want to look at this every day when I open my computer?
And on his behalf, I should say that he and his wife Taryn run Second Story Studio
Oh,
in
right, right.
Marquette downtown. This image is printed and is for sale if anyone is in the area.
Nice. Like, yeah, we love that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, and our last solo
Jason.
submission, Jason, with the 0 mil 0 f stop old Sigma lens.
Yeah.
This
I can't
is
recall. It might be a 35 mil Sigma.
16 to
Is
8.
it 16?
16 to 8. And
Whoa.
so says, I would like to submit my favorite photo from 2025 for the podcast. This is a photo I took on Black Friday while hiking through the woods of Marquette with Miles, a member of our photography group.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about Miles and he's submitted before. I took this on my Nikon D5600 with the Sigma 16 2.8 old school lens. I used a red filter with the intent of getting some cool black and white shots. Miles and I came around a corner and were struck by this gorgeous line of trees with the sun shining brightly behind them. Miles went on to look ahead for a composition, and I started taking photos trying to capture the scale of the scene, which you did really well. This photo would have been really kind of cool without a person there. It is infinitely better with a person in it.
Infinitely. Yes.
It does.
We've talked about this before. Once you throw something that adds the ability to determine scale, you did it. And just having Miles there, I love this shot.
Yeah, this is how you do that. This is why you do that. This is pretty cool. And it's interesting because like really I would say like kind of flat scenes like this where like everything's white. And then going into black and white, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy with a really old 16 mil. I assume with all that backlight, the color, there was probably tons of chromatic aberration in all this.
Yeah.
So it probably is just better off. But you were from the start looking for black and white if you had a red filter on there. So that is probably the move. That's what I would do with with that particular lens.
Yeah.
But for what it is, also pretty sharp.
Yeah. Wow.
So you can't
16mm 2.8 Sigma, huh?
That's you can't argue with that. That is a 5600 and a old Sigma, and that is still like, dude, cameras are great.
Yeah.
How many times do we have to say like, if you have an old camera, pull it out, put your phone away. If you only have a phone, use your phone. But if you do have an old camera, give it a shot because like, that's work, man.
Yeah.
That's a cool shot on gear that like, you know, the enthusiast level people would be like,
right. In reality, Jason's doing the heavy lifting by being in these positions.
Right.
He goes out with Miles. We go out often together. If you're not in those positions where things are looking cool, if you're not putting yourself in the right places at the right times, you're doing yourself a disservice because this does most of the work just being there.
Right. So, like I said, you're never going to take good photos if you don't go take photos.
Yes.
But that was really cool. A lot of good stuff, a lot of very different stuff, which I appreciate. It's interesting to see what people end up liking, right? Like best of 2025 doesn't mean look at these spectacular photos that I took. It's right. What's something to you that matters or is kind of a vibe.
Definitely. Some of the best memories. Yeah, they don't have to be the best, objectively best photos, but if they have the strongest memories, that sometimes that plays a bigger influence.
Yeah, strong memories, how hard you worked for the shot.
Yes.
The story, sometimes the story behind the shot is more fun than the shot itself, which is true for
often the case for me.
Yeah, that's more than I'd like to say. I think the story behind the shot is more when they line up, though. You get something like my white collared forest falcon shot.
Yeah, yes.
You know, you do get something like this freaking a 6700 Milky Way, or you get this ancient lens where you're walking around through the thing, and this is printable. That would
Yes.
look really nice on a wall. That would look nice in like a gallery, like if you were doing a black and white photo set.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't on a A7R5 with a freaking whatever. It wasn't on a freaking Fujifilm GFX or whatever. Like, get out of here with that. So, moral of the
Good work,
story.
everybody. Thanks for submitting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's 6,000 by 4,000. That's the full frame, no crop.
I did lots of good work on a D5300, so
Yeah.
it's no problem with me there.
Yeah, heck yeah. Too many more. I'm glad we got this out reasonably quick. I was kind of worried that it wouldn't be until like mid-January that we'd have time to shoot. But I'm excited for what we got going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get back up your way this year as well, and get maybe another live episode, or
Yeah.
I'd love to meet some of the people in the photo club,
Yeah.
and do some of that. So we'll figure something out. But
Absolutely.
when it's warmer, because I ain't going anywhere up there anytime soon. Miss
Don't
me with
blame
that.
me.
I'll
Don't
see you in
blame me.
August.
How many birds are on here right now?
Right. Yeah. So the next couple of months might get kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We're encroaching on my wedding in June, which will take a lot of our time and space. Trying to iron that kind of stuff out.
Mhm.
I am at minimum hoping to do an episode a month. I'd really love to get every other week again.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what that looks like. The next episode, unfortunately, will not be until the end of this month at the soonest. But if you listened and followed along, and especially watched, go ahead and take a look at these photographers' Instagrams or YouTubes. I will tag their socials and stuff in the description.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all. Join the Discord. Just DM us. Our Instagrams are on the screen. You can just reach out. You can even email LOT pod submissions. Is that it? LOT pod submissions at gmail.com, and ask if you're not on Instagram, or you can comment below.
Yes.
And reach out. We'll try to get you set up.
And everybody who submitted except for Brandon are all members of the Discord. So
Yep.
you should join, because we're seeing this stuff on a regular basis. It's great.
Yeah. And what we share here is literally like less than 1% of the photography that's happening in the group, and will always be so much less in the conversations that we're having and sharing people's stories and stuff. So
deeper conversations than what anybody is having on Instagram or anywhere else. It's just great.
Yeah. If you have Threads on your phone, delete it. And then we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. My pleasure. 2025 was good. 2026 will be better.
Always.